Everybody, welcome to my channel, Radiating Beauty with myself, Denise. That's me. I'm Denise. In case you're new to my channel, I want to say welcome. It is so lovely to see you here. This is a channel for the 45 plus working gal that works hard for her money, just as I know you do, and I'm a Canadian YouTuber. If you clicked on this YouTube, then you know what this video is all about. So if you like this kind of content, smash that like button and think about subscribing to my channel. I would love to have you. Let's get into this video. Okay, unless you live in a pineapple under the sea and you know that something has been going on with Natasha Denona. So I think it was back I want to say April of 2023, whenever we started to see the Yucca palette come out, which we Canadian makeup junkies, we kind of thought it was just a ultra exclusive. You know, there are a lot of different makeup brands that go to Ulta, and then they have exclusive products in there. And then we were kind of missing out on that because, of course, if you're a Natasha Denona fan like me, then you were kind of waiting, hoping that it was just a contract. At some point, then it would start to show up in Sephora Canada, Sephora USA, all of those places. We didn't see it happening. There was some murmurs what's happening. I just thought it was a supply chain issue because Natasha Denona in the past, along with other makeup brands, have kind of come into that sort of problem from time to time. And I just thought it was a matter of time before it showed up. It didn't show up, so then I just it must be one of those ultra exclusives. Then you got the Natasha Denona Definition Concealer. And then all of a sudden, that was in Sephora USA. So I was like, finally, we just have to wait. We're going to get it in Sephora Canada. And it never came, and it never came, and it never came. And then I was like, what exactly is going on? And a girlfriend that I follow that is in the States, I was like, where did you get your Natasha Denona concealer? She was like, oh, it's in Sephora. So it's no problem. Just go to the store. And they didn't have it in store. They didn't have it online. And I started thinking, what exactly is going on here? There's something going on. And simultaneously, about the same time, I started seeing online a couple of the Natasha Denona products on sale. And I started thinking to myself, that seems awfully weird for such an exclusive, expensive brand at Sephora just to randomly go on sale. And not all the things, just some of the things, like the Sunset palette, which was another sort of head scratcher. So instinctively, I went to Reddit because I was like, I'm part of a makeup community. So I thought if anybody knows, then somebody in that community will know. And everybody basically had the same questions. When I went in and typed, what's happening with Natasha Denona in Canada? Nobody had an answer. Well, today at this video, I have an answer. Let's just do a little reflection first of who Natasha Denona is and all about her makeup. So who is Natasha Denona? Well, Natasha Denona is actually a Croatian-born makeup artist that later on moved to Germany and then eventually as an adult settled in Tel Aviv. And she has been really known even before she came to Sephora and Beautylish and Ulta. She was really known for working the red carpet, doing celebrity sort of makeup looks and working on magazine covers. And she has been connected with Bar Raphael, which is probably one of the most famous Sports Illustrated Israeli models of all time. She's absolutely beautiful. I will probably insert a picture on the video for you. But anyways, in 2002, Natasha Denona actually started for her own sort of business venture. She started a makeup academy just in her name, the Natasha Denona Makeup Academy in Tel Aviv, and really then started teaching all of these new makeup artists that were up and coming the ways of her sort sort of makeup approach, and often would create different makeup products in order to sort of service her students that went to the academy. And people, of course, loved it. Makeup artists loved it. And then she started thinking, like, I should probably just produce my own makeup line because people were literally loving it. Decided she was going to start rolling out these 28 pan eyeshadow palettes that were really targeted to the makeup artist in the industry, right? They were really like ultra creamy, ultra pigmented with incredible color payoff, and they were priced pretty high. So in 2015, when Natasha Denona finally came to Sephora US, I believe her 28 pan eyeshadow palettes were retailing for around the $129, $130 mark. And a lot of people thought, like, okay, well, this should be interesting because that was obviously a very high price point for the type of makeup and eyeshadow that Sephora was carrying at the time. And when asked about it, Natasha Denona basically just shrugged and said, like, she never considered the price when she went to manufacture these eyeshadow palettes, because truly she didn't think it was for the everyday makeup lover or the makeup junkie. She was really targeting those makeup artists, and as a result she put it at a higher price point because she thought it would be the perfect kind of eyeshadow palette to throw into one's makeup kit. And that's where everything took off from there. When she arrived at Sephora in 2015, there was little fanfare. I mean, unless you kind of knew the quality of the ingredients that went into those 28 pan eyeshadow palettes, you weren't really destined to throw down $130. Not that she was the only one, but she certainly wasn't Gucci, YSL. So she really rolled into Sephora with very little fanfare until 2017. In 2017, she put out a 15 pan eyeshadow palette called the Sunset Palette. And Beautylish only had a limited inventory of these palettes when it was released. And when they put out that this was coming, they had no idea the response that was about to take place. In less than 1 hour, their entire inventory was sold out. And thus, really, the buzz that was around the social media sort of response really almost took Natasha Denona by surprise. When she was told that basically her palette sold out within an hour, she couldn't believe it. And they said, yes, in fact, your palettes are all sold out. So even though it was a supply chain issue, I think that was the very first time that Natasha Denona really became a part of our everyday beauty vernacular. And really, when makeup artists who weren't even paid by her were saying that the actual quality of the eyeshadows, the fact that they were so creamy, they had such pigment, and they had incredible color payout, really sort of launched her into the hearts of everybody. Sad that we have sort of arrived at this point in time where I have to sadly tell you that there was all those rumors that Natasha Denona was leaving Sephora Canada, and I reached out to Natasha Denona's marketing team myself, and I have to tell you, sadly, this is true, that they will no longer be in Sephora Canada. And I don't know how you feel. I am a huge Natasha Denona fan. I have been a fan since she rolled out in Sephora Canada. Honestly, just like the makeup artists have said, I mean, it didn't take long for the everyday makeup person to really enjoy the quality of her eyeshadows. I mean, all of those big eyeshadow palettes were all produced in Italy. And for every makeup chemist that's out there, they know that the highest quality of ingredients is actually produced in Italy. And they put out the most amazing textures of eyeshadows that are known around the world. And this is really what set Natasha Denona apart. I am so deeply saddened by the fact that they will no longer be offered in Sephora Canada, but they were happy to mention that they'll still be in Sephora USA, they'll be in Ulta, and they'll be in Beautylish. Best part of being in Sephora Canada was that we could not only look at them, but we could touch them, and we could really enjoy the luxury of those incredible incredible textures that she has in every palette. I mean, made her money in her 5-pan palettes, but it was her creativity and her artistry that put her ahead in those big 28 and 15-pan palettes. I mean, take any of those palettes and do a tic-tac-toe, either 3 up or 3 across, and they all cohesively go together. That's because Natasha Denona put such incredible amount of work and thought into each of her palettes. And now, without that sensory experience of being able to swatch it, yes, we'll be able to go to Beautylish, but I am just so incredibly sad. It was one of the main eyeshadow brands. I mean, when you think of how those eyeshadow palettes spawned off so many copycats throughout the makeup industry, then you have to stand and take notice and just say, wow, like they really were that incredible. As I am sure you are, because you're watching this video, you are a loyal and dedicated fan to Natasha Denona, and sadly, Natasha Denona being in a physical store, look at the colors and have that sensorial experience of swatching those colors to see those beautiful, creamy, pigmented, and rich eyeshadows. We have really lost something huge here in Sephora, Canada. And even though I'm sure that whatever reason they made was a business-based reason, I can't tell you what a huge loss it is to Sephora Canada and to all of us loyal Natasha Denona fans across Canada. And there was millions of us that were here. And I can't help feeling that whatever the reason, she kind of just left her Canadian fans in the dust. There was very little word. There was no big declaration that she was leaving, and this is why. I don't know if it was a fight with Sephora Canada, if it was over transportation costs or some other reason, but she has left us high and dry, you guys. I don't know how you feel. I just feel that it's a really super sad day for Natasha Denona fans in Canada. But I just wanted to put this video out because I was just so filled with all the questions you were. And on the website today, before I posted this video, and I scrolled through, and there's still some of her products in limited offerings, not of them all on sale. But the most interesting one was that her big 15-pan Sunset eyeshadow palette that really launched her entire sort of like career in Sephora all over the world, that sold out in an hour, the Sunset palette. That's the one that's on sale. Like, no, if that's like a little jab by Sephora Canada, I don't really know. I thank you for clicking on this video and just spending a little bit of your time with me. I always appreciate when you sort of drop by. I never take it for granted. I'm sorry to have to bring you this sad news. You'll know that I'll be on top of this because I just somehow feel like in my little sort of makeup family and who I was most loyal to, that I've lost a very dear member of that family. And if Sephora Canada or Natasha Denona's marketing team wants to respond to this little video, I will be so happy to send that information forward for you. All right, you guys, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I look forward to talking to you on our next video. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.